and welcome to London360, the show that keeps you up to date with everything there is to know about your capital, bringing you stories from real-life Londoners across the city. Don't forget, you can watch us on air on Mondays, Thursdays and Sundays at the times on screen, or you can watch us online anytime at communitychannel.org/London360. Let's see what's been happening in London this week with the 360 Roundup.
London has been described as the cultural capital of the world with a diverse range of music genres enjoyed by many. With thousands of buskers adding to the city's thriving atmosphere, Tasha Mathur decided to explore what it takes for a busker to brave the bustling streets of London.
Buskers. We pass them every day, on the tube and in the streets. But how much do we really know about them? I decided to find out about the rise of busking in the capital and why it's so special to London life.
I think there's a huge tradition of busking in London, especially in Covent Garden, that it sort of dates back to Punch and Judy, over 300 years ago. You get to know everybody and, the market stall holders, the street performers, the other musicians, and it just being a self-employed person, it's really nice having that sense of community around. It is quite hard, the standards are quite high. People come here to watch the performers. It's not like the tube where I often feel sorry for them, that people really are moving from A to B.
In 2003, busking was legalised by TfL, allowing buskers to perform inside stations and be booked by other venues.
You get the chance to perform to 4.5 million passengers every day. It means that we have over 200,000 hours of live music entertainment every year, so that makes us the biggest music venue in London. We have huge numbers of people asking for licences, more people than we can actually give licences to. That's how much demand we have.
However, this increasing demand has left many buskers on the sidelines, with a waiting list of over 2,000 people competing for the best spots.
In 2004, there were pitches I could get that I can't get now unless I make sure I phone on Tuesday mornings 9:30. And I was doing a full-time job for a long time, so I wasn't phoning in at 9:30, I wasn't able to. But you have to do that to get the very best pitches. When you're busking, you're probably only getting about one person in every 300 or 400, really, that's bothering to give money. So you've got to bear in mind some people are just filtering it out, which they've got every right to do.
So how hard can it really be to perform on the streets? We got our reporter Karina Nava-Johnson to give it a go, and I found out what the public really feel about busking. How much money did you make? Did you make any money?
I like to think that it's not all about the money, it's about support. Okay, I made nothing. I made nothing. Absolutely nothing. In weather conditions like this, it is cold, and then you're there singing, clapping hands, looking enthusiastic, and all the rest of it. I have a newfound respect for buskers.
Basically, it's entertainment. It can be annoying. It depends where it's being done, but someone's playing the music and someone's how to give some money. That's an option. That's not begging.
I give them money, but if they only make nothing special, I don't like that. That's like begging.
It's clear to see that busking is harder than it seems, so spare a thought for the next time you pass by a busker, as they could be the musical stars of tomorrow.
Free schools have popped up all over London since September. One term in, Tasha Mathur investigates what free schools are and the effect they're having on their local communities.
The first free schools opened in September, promising an education free from local authority control. Around half of these free schools already open are based in London. But what is a free school, and what does this mean for Londoners in real terms?
A free school is a school that's funded by government, but that is largely independent of local authority or government control. We can direct our funds directly where we think it will directly impact on the pupils.
West London Free School is one of the most high-profile free schools to open in London. Along with other free schools, they've been surrounded by controversy, raising many questions regarding the effects of the community, such as social segregation and funding.
A fund was made available from the government to set up these schools wherever they happen to go. And yet All my existing schools have lost literally hundreds of millions of pounds because their capital budgets have been cut to almost nothing.
It's a complete paradox, isn't it? That at a time when we're all being told to tighten our belts, at a time when tuition fees have gone up, and lots of young people in London have had the education maintenance allowance stop. It is a complete contradiction to find this new money when everyone else is being told there's no money for you or no money for the projects that you were involved in.
It's not true to say that they're taking money from other places. We would have had to have started schools anyway to fill the number of places for pupils that need places. So in a sense, all that's happening is the money is being directed directly to the schools, the free schools and the academies themselves to spend in the way they think best. It's certainly not being taken from another school.
Free schools have been accused of dividing the community. Setting their own admissions policy, they're able to accept children from far and wide. Some worry this could lead to further segregation.
You'll get some schools that attract lots of middle class kids, and then the other schools will be left to deal with the more disadvantaged kids from the deprived areas, and that could happen along racial lines as well. You might get schools that are attracting middle class white kids, and then schools that are attracting kids of different ethnic groups.
What we've come up with is an admissions policy that we think stops people from simply being able to buy themselves a house and therefore, if you like, buy themselves a school place. They're guaranteed to be entered into the lottery for a place, but that doesn't mean they'll necessarily be successful. So we found that our intake this morning is really quite diverse and comes from a big wide range of social and economic backgrounds, which is exactly what we wanted.
We're in favour of a good local school for every child is our sort of catchphrase. I think that becomes less and less likely for young people and for parents if free schools and we take hold and we allow a free market to reign over educations. I think that would be damaging to young people. I think it would be damaging to education in a great diverse city like London.
2 terms in, opinions remain divided. Only time will tell what legacy free schools will leave on our communities.
Last month, Grosvenor House held the Elite Asian Awards in celebration of the achievements of South Asians worldwide. We went to find out about the various ways in which they have contributed to our society and how Save the Children benefited from the night.
Taking place in the heart of London, the glamorous Asian Awards celebrated the many successes of the South Asian community worldwide. With guests ranging from MP Boris Johnson to rock legend Brian May, the awards have been dubbed as the Oscars of the East. But this amalgamation of cultures wasn't just about glitz and glamour, with proceeds of the event going to the high-profile charity Save the Children.
The main reasons for picking them was largely around the fact that they are an international charity, so they have many projects on the ground within Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan and India. And more importantly, they deal with fundamental grassroots survival, so basic sanitation, water, issues around starvation and food cultivation. The synergy with the fact that we're the Asian Awards and we're dealing with issues in India, in Bangladesh, in Pakistan, I thought was the right synergy to have. So that's why we decided to go with Save the Children.
The awards go to show how British Asians have become involved in their communities. Since migration began, they have aimed to integrate into the London way of life, with some breaking away from the stereotypes and going further than previously imagined.
It's fairly unusual for Asians to be involved in kind of social entrepreneurism as I am. I think most Asians are expected to be a doctor or a lawyer or a nurse or the stereotype careers that the media anyway portray Asians going into. So I didn't want any of that. I wanted to actually do something which makes a real difference.
Nick has been involved in many social projects, his latest being a play based on the Holocaust, working with Anne Frank's stepsister, Eva Schloss, and he's aiming to take it to prisons across London.
Whilst I support this idea of celebrating the kind of achievements of Asians, I still think that it's about achieving regardless of whatever your background.
And it's certainly been a big year on a global level, with British Asian Jay Sean topping the US music charts.
Jay Sean, was born and brought up, in West London, not too far from where we are now, and he, has achieved an immense amount for someone who started pretty much from the streets in terms of his music and his influences.
Because I feel like if this is our only opportunity, if this is the only life we get, make the most of it, be brilliant, be the best that you can be. And I never want to sell myself short, and that's why I guess I kept going step by step, and it took 10 years. But I finally made my way over to the States, and with my first single, it got the #1 position.
It is clear to see that over the years, British Asians have integrated into London's communities, exceeding expectations while making a name for themselves. However, is there more that can be done?
Generally, the contribution that British Asians are making to the London community is growing, and long may it prosper. And I believe that as long as we don't have any radical changes in immigration and radical changes in certain other areas for the worse, I think we will continue to be a strong part of the London community.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode of London 360. To find out more about any of the stories and to get in touch with your suggestions for the show, check out our website, communitychannel.org/London360. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at London_360 to keep in touch with the team and London stories as they happen. Because together, we are London.